So now our next second experiment number 2 is a quick return mechanism. The objective of this experiment is to find out the velocity, acceleration and displacement of the slider in the quick return mechanism. So this is quick return mechanism this is the inversion of a single slider crankshaft mechanism. So in this quick return, why it is known as a quick return mechanism? Because the return stroke is faster than the forward stroke, and that's why it is known as a quick return mechanism. So here also the crank, then slotted bar and piston slides on the sliders. So when the crank will be rotated 360 degree like this one, so accordingly this is our forward stroke, and then it will comes back and it is a return stroke. So return stroke is faster as compared to forward stroke, and this is known as a quick return mechanism. In this also there are 3 holes are given here. So with this hole we can adjust the crank length, and accordingly we adjust the crank length 3 times, and accordingly we can take the reading and we can find out the velocity, acceleration and displacement on the slider in the quick return mechanism. So this is inversion of the quick return mechanism, and this mechanism is also used in the shaping and slotting machine, as we have discussed in our classroom also. So now we will discuss how we are going to conduct this experiment.
So as you can see, this is my crank, and again, like the slider crank mechanism explained in the previous experiment, it has angles marked over it. So starting from 0, it has a whole 360 degree angles with the interval of 10 degrees. So like 10, 10, 10, we're gonna take the readings for this. So what we will do, we will set our marker to a reference. The reference can be anything. Let us say this is my reference. So I will put a mark on it, and it will be the same reference in the entire experiment. Now, this is my slider, and the length of this slider is 95 centimeter. You can read it from 0 to 95. So in the beginning of this experiment, the half of 95 is 47.5. I will put the connecting rod in the minimum and at the medium position, 47.5. So my rod is in the center, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start the experiment. As sir has explained, the front stroke is the forward stroke and it is the return stroke. So now, again, I will create one table. So for this table, there will be some value for the crank radius, and in one column I will write this is my crank angle theta and the value of slider displacement x, right? So these two we will record from the apparatus. After this, using the formula given in the lab manual, I will be calculating the angular velocity and angular acceleration, right? Alpha or AC. So we will start with the 0, and this 0 is set currently because the connecting rod is in the center position, 47.5. So we will rotate it clockwise by 30 degrees. So 10, 20 and 30. So this is the rotation. I have rotated it clockwise by 30 degrees. So in my table, okay, for my 0 position, it was the medium position of the connecting rods, that is 47.5. For 30 degree, what I will do is, as you can see, I have rotated the crank clockwise and the slider is moving backward. So from my mid position, all forward movement will be measured in the positive direction, and all reverse movement will be measured in the negative direction, right? So what I will do, this will be my 0, and my slider has moved by this amount in the negative direction, right? So what we will do, we will start from this 0, and this will be the direction of my slider in the whole experiment. So for 30 degree, this is 25.8. Now we will rotate it further by, just give me a minute, by 30 degrees, and again we will measure it. So This is for 60 degree, this is 13.1. Again, done. For 90 degrees, it is 20.2. So as you can see, now the slider has started moving in forward direction, right? So I will do it and I will measure this complete displacement for a complete cycle, which is this one. So starting from 0, I will take readings till 360 degree, and I am doing it for radius equal to, what is the radius currently? Let's see what is the position of this joint. So as you can see, this time the radius is clearly mentioned on the crank itself. So this is my medium radius and this is 12.4, right? So what we'll do, like the previous experiment, I am opening it and we gonna start our experiment with the first most radius. This is 80 mm or 8 centimeter. So I will set my crank to 8 centimeter, and again we will put the connecting rod in the minimum position, medium position, that is 47.5, my center position, and we will set it to some 0. We will mark this as 0 and we will take readings. Like for R equal to 8 centimeter, my 0 is 47.5. I will rotate it by 30 degree, done, and I will read the slider, which is 50.2 this time. 50.2. Like this, for theta equal to 60 degree, my slider is 67.2. So like this, I will take the readings for a complete revolution of the crankshaft. This is my table number 1. Table number 1. R equal to 8 centimeter. Now I will be creating a table number 2. In table 2, I will change the value of the radius. This time R equal to my second radius, which is 12.4 mm or 12 centimeter. 12.4 centimeter. 124 mm, right? So I will open it. And I will fix my pointer here this time. Done. And again I will put my connecting rod to the center position, which is 47.5. So we will again take readings for theta, then x, and with these two readings we will calculate V and AC. Right? So theta 0, position equal to 47.5. Again start rotating it by 30 degree like this and take the reading from the slider, which is 33.5 something, right? So we will take the reading for a complete revolution, and after this we will create our third table, which will be for the maximum radius. This is my table 3. R equal to the maximum one, which is 162 mm, that means 16.2 centimeter, and again the same thing. We will start the value of theta with 0 and we will put the connecting rod in the center position, and for 0 it will be 47.5, and again for 30 degree we will rotate it by 30 degree in clockwise direction, and this is 24.2, and like this we will do it for all 360 degrees. So at the end of our measurements we have 3 tables, right? Like the previous experiment, for all 3 tables we are going to calculate the value of angular velocity and angular acceleration, right, using the formula given in your lab manual. So we will be doing it in the all 3 tables. Now once my tables are completed, like the previous experiment, in this quick return mechanism 2 I will be plotting 2 curves. One will be angular rotation of the crank theta versus angular velocity. So on the x-axis I will be marking my angles. This is 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, and these will be the value of the velocity v, right? So once you calculate it, some values will be in the positive and some will be in the negative. So positive values I will plot here and negative values I will mark here. For say, let us say for 30 degree I have value v, for 60 I have this, for 90 I have this, for 120 I will be having something this, it will be interacting here, for 180 I will be having this. So for a particular radius, let us say r equal to 8 centimeter, for my first table I will be plotting a curve like this, it will be r equal to 8 centimeter. Now for second radius r equal to 12.4 radius, my plot will be like this, 12.4. For third radius the curve will be plotted like this, r equal to 16.2. So now I can see that for a different radius in a quick return mechanism, what will be the velocity parameter for the slider. Now like the previous experiment again, second curve I will be plotting between theta versus AC, acceleration content. Again the same thing, on x-axis I will be plotting my values of the crank rotation, 360, 90, 120 till 360, and here the values will be AC, upper values will be positive, lower values will be negative. So you will have curve something like this. For the first radius r equal to 8 centimeter, for the second radius r equal to 12.4, and for the third radius r equal to 16.2. So we will be giving you the sample values that can be measured directly from the apparatus. Like we will be giving you the value of theta and x for all three radiuses. So we will be giving you basically three tables. For each table you have to calculate v and AC using the formula given in your manual, and once you have calculated these values, you have to plot these two curves. That will be the end of our experiment. Thank you.